Tipping in Turkey. Tips are generally a few percent of the price paid, although Americans tend to do their thing and tip big, which is leading Turkish tourism industry workers to expect big tips from Americans who travel to Turkey. In most cases, you can't include the tip on a credit card charge. You should tip in cash, I recommend, and in most cases, hand the tip directly to the person who has served you. In some establishments, any tip you leave on the table will end up in the owner's cash register and not in the server's pocket. Although the person you tip would probably prefer Turkish lira, you can tip in any currency as long as you give paper money. Non-Turkish coins cannot easily be exchanged for Turkish liras, so keep that in mind. Tips for airports, trains, and bus stations. Well, every airport, bus station, otogar in Turkish, and train station has an official tariff for porters, which should be posted prominently. Of course, you probably won't see it, so tip a few lira per bag at least, which should be plenty. If you actually end up underpaying according to the official tariff, well, don't worry, the porter is sure to let you know. For taxi drivers, don't tip. Just round the fare upwards to a convenient amount. Tips for private transfer services, no tip is required but is expected. So if you wish to tip the driver, I'd recommend at least 5 to 10% of the fare to be appropriate. For local transportation, such as a dolmuş or minibus, no tip is expected. Tips for hotels, well, porters are happy with 5 to 10 lira. 10 to 20 lira is more typical. Also, housekeeping staff are hardworking and deserving of your generosity. In some hotels, at the reception desk, you may see a tip box. This is an appropriate place to express your appreciation to wait staff for good service. Tips for restaurants and inexpensive establishments, small tips, 5% or so, are not necessary. I've even had Turkish people tell me to put it back in my pocket, but they are appreciated and oftentimes expected. In luxury restaurants, tip at least 10 to 15%. Tips for guided tours. Tips to guides and drivers on organized tours are expected, but at your discretion. Certainly guides and drivers hope for tips, but a good guide or driver will not think less of you for not tipping, and a bad guide or driver, well, in my opinion, deserves no tip. Tips for a Turkish bath or hammam, well, at the end of your bath, all the attendants, and there are lots of them, are going to line up and bid you goodbye and expect a tip if service has been good. I would share out among them at least 15% of the total price of the services that you've used. Again, see our website, turkeytravelplanner.com, for more specific current tip amounts.